Thank you for joining us for this episode of That Solo Life, the podcast for PR pros, marketers, and communicators who work for themselves. People like me, Michelle Kane with Voice Matters, and my wonderful co host, Karen Swim of Solo PR Pro. Hey there, Karen. Great to see you.
Hello, Michelle. It's so good to see you. Hang on. You're back.
We're back. If you thought we left you stranded, we are sorry. We did not. We took a little bit of a pause, which, you know, after however many episodes we've done, is we had a pretty good stretch without taking a break, and we kind of decided to walk our talk a little bit, right?
We did. I think we're at episode somewhere around 314, 15, somewhere in there. So, yeah, we have not really ever taken a break other than maybe a
A week.
week.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah, but not very often. So, um, we took some time off and we are
Yeah.
back with a brand new season. And we wanted
Yes.
to say hello to our audience, and we've really missed you, but the break was much needed,
Yeah.
and we are so excited for what's ahead.
Yay. Yes, yes, we are. We're lining up some great guests and really just, not the pause not only gave us a moment to pause, but also just really rethink of, what do we as solos in this landscape need to hear or need to tell ourselves and really in a way need to coach ourselves because in the end it's of course we have resources and things but it's still us in the driver's seat. So at this point of 2026, what does it mean to be a solo business owner? How can we best equip ourselves and keep on keeping on in a way that's best for us, because that's really what it's all about. It's not to fit anyone else's mold but your own, and what works for you and gives you the life that lights you up.
And I think what I was reminded of during this break is that fundamentally being a solo, even if many of us do work with teams. Um, so even if you do have a team, it really helps to have that anchor point, that center of
Mhm.
community, because you're doing all the things and you're out there, but it helps to check in, to hear from people who work like you do and understand what your day to day looks like, and to hear things that just make you go, oh, thank God it's not just me. Um, so we want to make sure in this upcoming season that we're not just about the tactical or the strategy of running your business or doing certain things, but that we also address who we are holistically, because we find ourselves in just a weird place in our history right now, with the tension of technology rising, and some of the things that are impacting the landscape, the division among people that directly impacts our job, redefining our work. But also many of us are at stages of our career where we are looking ahead over the horizon, I'm sorry, to figure out what's next. And then
Yeah.
some are dealing with, what I'm now calling super adult issues. Like we've entered that super adult phase, where we're dealing with things like, raising kids, but also dealing with aging parents or relatives, and,
Yeah.
those kinds of issues. And so all of that impacts who we are holistically and how we show up for our jobs. And so we want to tackle all of those things, because that's how we roll.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and pretty sure I'm not alone. I know in present company, I'm not of the inclination to think, well, again, it comes back to how we're wired as communicators of, all right, I've got to cover all the bases, got to be super ready, got to be da, 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 always on, da, 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 and then it's, and
Yeah.
you really have to find a way to stay replenished. It, especially in this era of caring for others, because that it takes a lot out of you. And I don't know, as I was scrolling over the weekend, there was a reel about something, and I don't know if I qualify, but, they're like, "If you're a highly sensitive person," I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like a PR practitioner." You're always kind of at the ready, taking on
Yeah.
everyone else's issues. Think, 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 think. And, how do you protect yourself or at least set some of yourself aside in the midst of that? Because, we don't have the luxury of checking out entirely, but there is room. I know for me, sometimes I just get in the rhythm and you don't make the room and you don't do what you should do. And eventually, you might bump into a wall here and there. So it's really about taking that time to say, I'm no good to anybody else if I don't just take a few hours.
And I think not just for solos, for anybody that has a job that works, we all
Yeah.
hit, we can hit burnout, and sometimes that comes with just a
Mhm.
bunch of changes, and we have been assaulted with change over the past few years, and so I know for me, there have
Mhm.
been different points in my career where you just are like, "Ugh, I just don't have the capacity to learn anything else. I'm just over it. I'm sick of it. Like, ugh, here we go again." And
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like that lately too, like, "Oh god, I just don't want to,"
Ugh.
I just think I'm tired, and you start to think about, like, your job,
Yeah.
like, "Ugh, do I even wanna do this stupid job?" And that I know it's not just me, because I've had those
No.
moments, and I've had those moments recently where, like, "Oh god, another media change? Are you kidding? How much longer can
Mm.
I keep doing this?" But that's
Yeah.
natural because we do
Yeah.
something for a very long time. It's normal to hit those spots where you question if you can keep going, if you want to keep going. And I think in those moments,
Yeah.
we either, we take some time off, realizing that we need a break, or we really start to think about pivoting to something different. And a lot of our
Mhm.
solos have definitely pivoted to something a little bit different, or we figure out how to reinvent what we do that fits who we are today. So, we want to address those
Yes.
issues too. Like, you are not locked into who you used to be just because you used to do it that way,
No.
just because you used to serve these people, just because this has been your brand forever does not mean that you cannot change, because we evolve, we change. The things that we like to do, they change. Our capacity for doing work changes. And I
Yeah.
know so many people right now are in this era where they're realizing, I've got to shift my perspective around what productivity really means to me. It may not be,
Mhm.
hey, I'm that person that I was 5 years ago, even a year ago, that could do 10 things in a day. Maybe I could do 2. And the rest of
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
bandwidth needs to be on family or something else. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, as an ever recovering people pleaser, and I think with the loss of certain filters of being at a a certain phase of life, um, you realize, well, shoot, it wasn't a healthy motivator, but that was a motivator. Uh-oh. I still wanna do good work, but sometimes you're like, that desire to be like, "Look what I did." I'm like, "Ugh," but I still wanna do the good thing, and I'm thinking, "Okay, how's we gotta figure this out," and that's okay, and honestly, let's face it, we've talked about this a lot. Our Most people that we talk to in our families or friends, they don't understand what we do anyway, so pivot away.
that's
If
so
they didn't
true.
understand before, it really doesn't.
I've
And as
also
long as
learned
it's
that
attracting.
we're not the
Yeah.
only people who have jobs that our friends and family don't understand. There are people who are accountants and their family thinks they're attorneys. And, so I think the moral to the story is families just, sometimes really don't know what your job is.
I think there's a song. Oh, there was parents just don't understand. We can have the new one, families. They just don't
They just
understand.
don't get it. They don't know what we do. And that's okay. And of course, Michelle and I, we always, we love to lead with laughter and, optimism. So you'll still get plenty of that. But
Yeah.
Michelle, I'm really excited because we are talking to some great people, and
Yes, we
we've got a
are.
special crossover coming up this season,
Yes,
and
we
we've got
do.
some really smart people that we're talking to, and a wide range of voices and a wide range of expertise. So that's kind of fun, and
Yeah,
people that are really different than us, so that our audience gets the breadth and depth of these expert
yeah,
voices. So I'm really excited, and
me too.
keep those pitches coming, the ones that are relevant. Please and thank you, because we get some other quite funny ones because we love having guests, and we're so thankful for all the people who are reaching out and really want to do this show. That's a beautiful thing.
Yep,
Um,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited. We're glad to be back. We've we've missed all of you. I know that sounds weird since we're just a voice coming out of your speaker, but you do catch a vibe. But we hope you're ready for some great new episodes because we are. And yeah, we will see you next week. And until then, thanks for listening to That Solo Life.